Hello everyone, I'm Colin Kinnett. Today's video is part of a three-part series, and this video is the most important of the three of them because this is where the rubber hits the road, as they say. This is where you will learn where you can sell your woodworking projects. And I've purposely made these videos in the late spring, early summer, because the fall is the best time to be selling woodworking projects. And now that you have that information, you'll be able to work towards that over the next couple of months. So let's jump right into this video. So this is going to be a fairly short video because a lot of the information is going to be in the article on Woodwork Web, but we'll give you a good overview here first of all before we put a link to that. So this video and this process of actually selling your woodworking things, the first part is easy. Making them is somewhat easy. Figuring out a price to sell them at, somewhat easy. But actually selling them, because I hear a lot of people say, oh, I can't sell my own stuff. No, you can sell your own stuff. You just need to have the right opportunity to do that. And that's what I'm going to talk about here. And there's a few things that you need to know about before you even start making things. And that's going to be where you're going to sell them, because that's going to have an impact on what you make. So basically, you have two places that you can sell your projects. You can sell them locally, which means sort of around your neighborhood, around your town, around your area, or you can sell them remotely, which means you're going to list them probably on an online for sale place, maybe in a magazine or a newspaper or something like that, or you can actually do both of them. But what you do is going to depend on the size of projects that you've selected. If you're selling larger items, for example, like this little table, now this isn't that big, but you can imagine that this is going to be difficult to package up and ship somewhere. So this is something you would probably be selling locally because people are probably going to want to come over in their vehicle and pick this up. If, on the other hand, you're selling smaller items like these are easy to ship and cost effective. So if you're making smaller items, you can sell locally and you can sell remotely. So it really depends on the kind of things that you're making. So to be honest, selling locally is probably the most fun. Now, it might be the scariest for some of you, but once you get started, you'll find that you're going to have the most fun with it and probably going to be the most productive as well. And when you're selling locally, there's all sorts of things that you can do. For example, there are markets that you can select, local markets that you can participate in, buy a table or a plot somewhere. But there's even more simple things like garage sales. You can have your own garage sale. You can have a yard sale. There are swap meets that you can go to. There's all sorts of local places, both indoor and outdoor, so you're not necessarily limited to outdoor. One of my favorites for selling local, and I just saw this not very long ago, somebody is selling their garden boxes and garden furniture, etc., on the front lawn of their house. And from what I understand from people in the neighborhood who are driving up and down the street, he actually is doing a very good job because every time they go by, there's different things out on the lawn. So he's actually selling stuff. I always thought that was a really neat idea. The reason I really like selling locally is because you start building a clientele. You get to know people, they get to know you, they get to know the kind of things that you're making, and very often that will quickly build into more sales because they will be telling other people and they may be looking for other things themselves. So buying or selling locally and buying locally is probably the most fun and probably the most productive, but for some of you, it's going to take a little while to sort of ease your way into it. Let's talk for a minute about selling remotely. And there's pros and cons to any of these processes. Selling remotely, a lot of people think I'll just list it on one of the sites. And that may or may not work. But when you're selling remotely, there's a couple things to consider. First of all, there are a variety of local areas or local websites that you can use that are within your area, your neighborhood, or sort of your district. Things like Craigslist, for example, you can list your things on Craigslist and they have specific areas. That might be a better place to be selling things than on something like perhaps Etsy or Shopify or even Amazon Handmade, because people will think that when you're making something, all I need to do is list it on a website somewhere and it will sell. That's not exactly the case. For example, people that publish books will have said that to me. Oh, I'll just list it on Amazon. But guess what? Amazon has 33 million listings for books. So if you have one book listed on Amazon, your chances of getting that sold just by listing it are pretty remote. So anytime you're setting up something to sell remotely, you still need to put some effort into selling it. So my suggestion, if you're going to be selling these on a website somewhere, my suggestion is if you're going to start off doing that, pick something local that's more within your area, because you have a much better chance of people finding what it is that you're selling than in a big, large website where you're competing with all sorts of other vendors with maybe similar kinds of products. Now, the other thing you can do online as well, you can make your own website. Now, when I say this, I'm not suggesting that you go into the business of making things and selling them. Some of you will do that and some of you will want to do that, and that's fine. But for the purpose of this video, what we're really trying to accomplish here is we're just trying to sell a few products that we can sell for whatever price we can get for them to help us pay for the wood so that we get to continue to build things, so that what we sell will pay for more wood so that we can just keep on having fun in our workshop. But some of you will want to go further with that, and that's where making your own website might be an idea. And there's a couple of places where you can go to do that. For example, Wix, Squarespace is another one that I'm familiar with, or you could even have somebody make your own. And the cost of making those is fairly inexpensive. It's not free, but it's fairly inexpensive, and usually they're free to get started. And then you can, as you start building and selling stuff and promoting your website, you can actually use your website to promote things on another site. So maybe you've got something listed on Shopify, but you want to use your own website to help increase the sales on your Shopify site. So there's things where you can work back and forth. And in fact, if you're selling locally, you can use all of that so you can combine things and really get going. But once you start off, you'll find all of these things sort of sliding into place. Well, as I said, this was going to be a short video, and what I wanted to do was just give you enough information to get you started. A lot of the detail, including links, are going to be in the article on Woodwork Web, and of course that link is below in the description box. You'll be able to find all sorts of good information there with all sorts of links that can get you started. But for any of you, the best place to sell things, to get started, to be honest, is locally. The best you can do is getting started locally, sell things locally. Pick yourself a table at a swap meet, indoor or outdoor, something like that when you're around a lot of other people. Get to know the people on either side of you. Have some fun. Make it a place where you can go and have some fun. And when you do that, you will be amazed at how well you'll start selling product. Be happy, put on a happy face, and when people are walking by, greet them, say something to them, and you will start, I guarantee you will start selling things. And once you do that, you start to build the momentum, and then you can branch out to do whatever you want. The other two videos in the series are coming up on this side here. You'll be able to click over and have a look at those as well. And between all of those, in the fall, you should be all wrapped up, ready to start selling. I'm Colin Kennett for Woodwork Web. Thanks for watching.